In the vast expanse of the Bay of Bengal, a hidden jewel of emerald green sits amidst the shimmering turquoise waters. This is North Sentinel Island in the northeastern Indian Ocean, a place seemingly untouched by time. Its dense forests and unspoiled beaches paint a picture of a world that has remained unchanged for millennia. Part of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, this remote island is home to a unique tribe, the Sentinelese. They're one of the last uncontacted peoples on Earth, living in isolation from the modern world. Their story is one of fierce independence and profound isolation. The Sentinelese have resisted contact with outsiders, choosing to live their lives according to their ancient traditions and customs. They belong to the broader class of Andamanese peoples. For centuries, the Sentinelese have lived on this island. The tribe has had minimal contact with outsiders and has usually been hostile to those who approach or land on the island. The Sentinelese are hunter-gatherers. They use spears with bows and arrows to hunt terrestrial wildlife and more rudimentary methods to catch local seafood, relying on the island's resources to sustain their way of life. Their world shrouded in mystery, many have tried to understand their way of life, but the Sentinelese remain an enigma, their secrets closely guarded. In 1956, the government of India declared North Sentinel Island a tribal reserve and prohibited travel within 5.6 kilometers of it. It further maintains a constant armed patrol in the surrounding waters to prevent intrusions by outsiders. Photography is prohibited. No rigorous census has been conducted, so there is significant uncertainty as to the group's size, with estimates ranging between 35 and 500 individuals. In a world that is constantly changing, North Sentinel Island remains a place where time stands still. The Sentinelese are believed to be directly descended from some of the earliest human migrants out of Africa. Their language, a mystery to linguists, with no known contact with the outside world for millennia, they live in harmony with their environment, their lives dictated by the seasons, the tides and the bounty of the forest. Their knowledge of the island's ecosystem is unparalleled, their survival dependent on their deep connection with the natural world. The first recorded encounters with the Sentinelese date back to the 18th century, with passing ships noting their presence but maintaining a respectful distance. These early encounters were often met with hostility, a clear indication of the Sentinelese desire to be left alone. The British, during their colonial rule of the Andaman Islands, made several attempts to contact the Sentinelese in the 19th century. These attempts, though well-intentioned, were met with fierce resistance. The Sentinelese, with their bows and arrows, made it clear that they were not interested in interaction. Despite their clear signals, sporadic attempts to contact the Sentinelese continued into the 20th century. The allure of the unknown and the human curiosity drove many to these remote shores. Indian anthropologists, hoping to learn more about this unique culture, made several attempts to establish peaceful contact. They approached with caution, bearing gifts and showing respect for the Sentinelese way of life. These anthropologists were driven by a desire to bridge the gap between two vastly different worlds, to understand the Sentinelese on their own terms. They left coconuts, metal pots and other items, hoping these gestures would be seen as signs of goodwill. These efforts, while more sensitive to the Sentinelese's wishes, still resulted in a mixed bag of cautious acceptance and outright hostility. Some encounters were peaceful, with the Sentinelese accepting the gifts and allowing the visitors to observe from a distance. Other times the tribe responded with aggression, making it clear that they valued their privacy and autonomy above all else. The delicate balance between curiosity and respect was a constant challenge for those who sought to make contact. In the 1970s, a National Geographic film crew, led by anthropologist Maurice Vidal Portman, managed to film the Sentinelese from a distance. This was a significant achievement, as it provided a rare glimpse into the lives of one of the world's most isolated tribes. The crew used long lenses and kept their distance, respecting the tribe's clear signals to stay away. The footage they captured was both fascinating and haunting, showing a people who had remained untouched by modern civilization. This footage, provided the world with the first moving images of this reclusive tribe, sparking further interest in their culture and well-being. It was a window into a world that few had seen, a world that seemed to exist outside of time. However, even this attempt at distanced observation was met with aggression, reinforcing the Sentinelese's desire for isolation. The tribe's defensive postures and aggressive reactions were a stark reminder that they wished to be left alone. Their message was clear: they did not want outsiders intruding on their land or their way of life. This reinforced the need for a respectful approach, one that acknowledged their right to self-determination and their desire to remain undisturbed by the outside world. In 2018, the world's attention was drawn back to North Sentinel Island with the tragic death of John Chau, a young American missionary. John Chau embarked on a journey to North Sentinel Island with the aim of contacting and living among the Sentinelese. John paid 2 fishermen to take him near the island. On November 15th, he attempted his first visit in a fishing boat, which took him about 500 to 700 meters from shore. The fisherman warned Chau not to go farther, but he canoed toward shore. As he approached, he attempted to communicate with the islanders and to offer gifts, but he retreated after facing hostile responses. On another visit, John Chau recorded that the islanders reacted to him with a mixture of amusement, bewilderment, and hostility. He attempted to communicate, such as echoing the tribesmen's words, which ended with them bursting into laughter, making John theorize that they had been cursing at him. He stated that they communicated with lots of high-pitched sounds and gestures. Eventually, according to John Chau's last letter, when he tried to hand over fish and gifts, a boy shot a metal-headed arrow that pierced the Bible he was holding in front of his chest, after which he retreated again. On his final visit on November 17th, John Chau instructed the fishermen to abandon him. The fishermen later saw the islanders dragging John's body, and the next day they saw his body being buried on the shore. Despite efforts by Indian authorities, which involved a tense encounter with the tribe, John Chau's body was not recovered. His actions met with understandable hostility from the Sentinelese, which resulted in his death. An anthropologist involved in the case told that the risk of a dangerous clash between investigators and the islanders was too great to justify any further attempts. This tragic event served as a stark reminder of the importance of respecting the Sentinelese's isolation and the potential dangers of forced contact. The Sentinelese are not a curiosity to be gawked at or a people to be civilized. They are a unique and vibrant culture, their lives interwoven with the delicate ecosystem of their island home. Their isolation is not a call for intrusion, but a plea for respect. Their decision to remain isolated is their right, a right that must be acknowledged and respected. The Indian government, recognizing this, has declared North Sentinel Island and its surrounding waters a protected zone, prohibiting any attempts at contact. The story of the Sentinelese raises complex ethical questions about the nature of contact and the responsibility we have towards isolated cultures. Are we justified in imposing our ways of life on those who have chosen a different path? Is our curiosity a justification for potentially exposing them to diseases for which they have no immunity? The answers to these questions are not easy. However, one thing is clear: our desire to learn and understand must be tempered with respect, sensitivity, and a deep understanding of the potential consequences of our actions. The future of the Sentinelese remains uncertain. Climate change, with its rising sea levels and unpredictable weather patterns, poses a significant threat to their island home. The encroachment of the outside world, despite protective measures, remains a constant concern. Yet, one thing is certain: the world is watching. There is a growing global awareness of the Sentinelese and the importance of respecting their right to self-determination. The hope is that this awareness translates into concrete actions that ensure the Sentinelese can continue to live as they have for centuries, free, independent, and in harmony with their island home.